Hey folks, it's Mark here at Harmonix Tuition, where we give you the knowledge to get good on guitar. Harmonix is your channel for easy to follow guitar lessons for all levels. Today we're looking at an advanced lick, and it's a very sort of Paul Gilbert style pentatonic cascading run, mostly down one string, namely the high E string. We're going to be crossing over to the B string a few times just to complete the shape. But the difficult part about this isn't necessarily fingering all the notes, it's connecting them in this strange kind of 9-note sequence that it is and fitting it into a steady pulse. We'll look at this all and more in the breakdown of the lick itself, but for now, let's check it out. Okay, let's break it down. Okay, so let's have a look at this lick. We're going in A minor pentatonic, descending down the high E string. We're going to be going over to the B string a few times, but not much. Okay, it's mainly just to complete the pattern. So the first pattern, 15 with your first finger on the E. Then you're going to have your second finger on 17. You're not going to do this straight away, but this is just the fingers we're going to use in the frets. So 15 with your first finger, 17 with your second finger, and 20 with your fourth, okay? And how we're going to start this lick is we're going to start with all of our fingers on. So we're going to start with our pinky on 20, our second finger on 17, and our first finger on 15. We're actually going to pick down on the pinky, on the 20, pull off the 17, pull off the 15, and then our second finger is going to come over onto the 17 on the B, and we're going to hit that with the downstroke. So it's going to look like this. This technique with the right hand, this idea of picking, pulling off, down picking, and then going back, this is going to be something that's going to continue. So you want to try and lock in this technique in your mind. And the only thing that should really change is the fingers and the frets that we're going to be using. But the pattern you're going to be doing with your fingers and your right hand is pretty much the same all the way down. Pick, pull off, down. Then we immediately come back to the E string, the first finger on the 15 with an up. A down on the 17 again with the second finger, and then an upstroke on the 20 with our fourth finger. So that will look like this all together. Then the next thing we're going to do is I want you to imagine that after you've done this up here on the 20, when you've come back to the E, this is almost you starting again, but you're starting with an upstroke. So you're just going to, after you've picked this, it's a pull off and a pull off like that. And that's the whole thing. So let me show you what that looks like really slow all together. Keep it really nice and clean. Keep the notes really evenly spaced. And then like 9 notes basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you've got that shape, you can actually loop that over and over, maybe use a metronome. Just get your hands, your left hand, your fingers on your left hand used to that shape and the right-handed picking motion. So this idea of the tough part is when we have to change to the next shape, because it's not as straightforward as you would think, because you have to kind of land with all your fingers on like you did in the first example. So they're all there ready to, pull off and pick or whatever. So the first 2 notes that we used in our first shape was 15 and 17, and they're going to be the first 2 that we're going to have here. So because it's pentatonic, obviously it's going to connect different areas, right? So the way it connects here is we're moving everything down. We're kind of swapping the 15 for our third finger. We're swapping the 17 for our pinky, and our first finger goes from the 15 down to the 12. Okay, so we're going to be doing what we did before. And I'm starting this with a downstroke. Each scale fragment, if you like, of this descending run is going to start with a downstroke. And I'll show you this pattern now. So we're going to go down on the 17 with our pinky, pull off the 15, pull off to 12, But this time, our third finger is going to come over onto the B for the downstroke, onto the 15. So that'll be like this. Okay? And if we apply the pattern, the technique with the right hand, the picking hand, it will be. So that's the first two shapes connected. Okay, moving on to shape 3. So we're down in this position now. We're still keeping these two notes from the last shape, but we're adding one further down the scale. And this time our first finger is going to be on fret 10, our second finger is going to be on fret 12, and our pinky is going to be on fret 15. Now this one might feel like the most awkward of them all. You guys might not like the whole using your third and fourth separated here because, you know, maybe your independence between your third and fourth isn't super good yet. But I personally find this shape the most uncomfortable. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just the stretch between my first and my second finger, but one of these shapes is going to be more awkward for you, right? So I suggest you isolate that shape, practice it, get it right, and then reintegrate it, and you'll find that it won't be a stumbling block when you try and do this quickly, okay? Especially up to a metronome and keeping the notes evenly spaced and clean. As before, all our fingers are going to be on the notes that we want to start with, so we can pull them off, because that's the way that this pattern goes each time. So our pinky will be on 15, our second finger will be on 12, and our first finger on 10. Again, a downstroke and two pull-offs. Pull off to 12, pull off to 10. Okay, and then this time our third finger is going to come over for the 13 on the B. Okay, so that'll look like this. Okay, and as before, we go up, down, up when we transition back to the high E string, and then we do two pull-offs again. So then the last shape we're going to do here is first finger on fret 8, second finger on fret 10, and pinky on fret 12. Obviously, they all have to be here when you transition from one shape to the next, because it's the technique that we've been doing, the sequence. So we pick down on the 12, as we have for all the others. We pick down, pull off, pull off. So pull off from 12 to 10, and 10 to 8. Okay. And then our second finger comes over onto fret 10 with a down. And then we do what we've done before, an up, down, up, and two pull-offs. Okay, so that'll look like this. Okay, but this time we actually repeat this little bit again. Let me just do it really, really slowly all together so far, so you can see how this little bit at the end here is different from the others. Okay, so starting back with our first shape. And then what we do here is we go back to 10 on the B with a downstroke. And then what I do, just to finish this off, you can end here if you want. But what I do is I actually go, and I slide this finger immediately without picking it again. So I've done my down. There. I slide it down to the 8 and then bend a whole tone up to the pitch of A. Okay, to give us our root. So if you notice there, I'm sliding straight down. I'm putting my sort of weight underneath the string as well, so I can get it up to pitch quickly. I'm kind of using my elbow a little bit, actually. Like that. So that's the sequence itself, but it's about putting it all together. We'll do that next. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you for liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our uploads. If you're interested in coaching or for me to be your personal tutor on the guitar, all you need to do is check the description box below for our information where you can email us. You can also check out our Amazon affiliate links if you want to support the channel. But for now, back to the lesson. Okay, so putting it all together then. The difficult bit with this, as I said before, is jumping with all your fingers on, ready to start the next sequence. And the faster you go, the harder this is going to be for you, because your fingers really need to jump into this shape immediately. It's kind of like if you imagine changing chords very quickly, you know, your fingers have to get used to the exact chordal shape so you can immediately jump into it without going one finger here, you know. So this kind of idea with these shapes. So you really want to try and practice these individually, then practice going from one to the other, okay? A good example would be the first two, say. The next shape. So what you could do, actually, just to get it clear in your mind, is you could do the first shape and then kind of stop yourself. Move into the next shape, do that, stop yourself. Move into the next shape, do that. And then practicing this run is basically going to be about shortening the distance between you stopping between each shape. I think, if I remember correctly, that's how I did it originally. So like... Okay, and then you just want to narrow that gap down. So that's the sequence. Good luck with that. Let's see what it sounds like up to speed. Okay guys, I'm going to leave this advanced playlist for you here to see if there's anything else in there you might fancy, so you can binge watch through those. I'm sure there's something there you'll find of value. Thank you very much for watching today, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.